everyone, welcome once again to the channel Things I Can't Explain. Today I'd like to talk about a subject I'm truly passionate about, Bigfoot and his possible origins. I'd like you for just a moment to think about all of this. We have two options. Either we believe Bigfoot really exists, or we don't believe in him at all. I assume that if you're listening to me right now, it's because in some way you suspect that a being like this might actually exist in the forests and mountains of North America. Over time, there have been sightings all across North America, from north to south, and they keep increasing. How is it possible that, to this day, not a single body of one of these beings has ever been recovered? No live specimen has ever been captured either. Oh yes, many people might say to me, well, it's a huge country and there are many areas that haven't even been set foot on by humans. It's normal that if such beings exist, especially if they have highly developed intelligence and extremely sharp senses, all of that would allow them to hide from humans. And to a certain extent, I agree with that. I agree that the average person couldn't afford to spend much time out in the wide wilderness tracking these creatures. Neither the money nor the time would be enough. But there is someone, my friends, who I know could find these beings if they truly set out to do it. And that is Uncle Sam. Now, many of you might be wondering, why would the government waste time and resources searching for something that officially doesn't exist? This is where we go back and focus on the thousands of testimonies collected over time. If we agree that there are so many witnesses claiming to have seen these beings, do you really believe that by now the government wouldn't have bothered to investigate whether it's true? I think they would have. And do you really believe that if Bigfoot were simply a 10-foot tall ape wandering through mountain peaks and forests, they wouldn't have found it already, considering the economic and technological resources at their disposal? For me, there are two possible answers. One, they already know what it really is, and they haven't bothered searching for it because they know they won't be able to catch it. And two, they actually can catch it, but they wouldn't be able to explain to the public what it truly is. All this lecture I've just given you is to explain why I believe Bigfoot is something more than what most cryptozoologists think it is. Now, let's explore that possibility. So yes, because all of this, I believe Bigfoot is a being that may come from other dimensions. Many people can understand the concept that there might be beings living in another dimension, but at the same time, we must also remain open to the possibility that there are beings capable of traveling between dimensions. Numerous
witnesses have reported seeing enormous footprints of unknown creatures in the forest that suddenly stop, as if the being that left them had simply vanished into thin air. Other testimonies claim to have seen glowing orbs just before spotting a Bigfoot walking through the woods. There are even accounts of Bigfoot descending from flying saucers. It is also believed that they may use a kind of camouflage, similar to what was used in the movie Predator. There are some videos where you can see something like that moving rapidly through the forest. One book that deeply impacted me was The Sasquatch People and Their Interdimensional Connection, written by Kewaunee Lapseritis. In it, he describes how the Sasquatch are actually evolved beings who arrived on this planet millions of years before humans and who are helping humanity in its evolution. I highly recommend reading it. At first, it all seemed like pure science fiction to me, but little by little, I began connecting the dots and started to see that it had its own internal logic. Right now, as I'm writing this script, I realize that even the topic of UFOs and extraterrestrials is changing. People are now beginning to talk more about interdimensional beings rather than beings coming from outer space. Quantum physics even speaks quite naturally about the existence of other dimensions. It's an idea that is becoming increasingly accepted. And I believe that many beings classified within cryptozoology are actually visitors from those alternative realities. Beings such as Bigfoot, Dogman, the Chupacabra, and different races of entities that were previously thought to come from the stars. In fact, I believe this is the real reason why governments do not reveal the truth to the world. Because all of this represents a reality that is extremely difficult to explain to the general public. It would be much easier to say aliens come from that planet or Bigfoot is actually an ancestor of human beings, but no, because that's not how it is. Reality is far more complex than we think. Some people might be wondering, if Bigfoot is an interdimensional being, why does it need to hunt, for example? Well, because being interdimensional does not mean you are some kind of ghost. It means that when you move between dimensions, you adopt the physical properties required in the dimension you are currently in. And when they are here, they have a physical body and the same needs as other beings like us. The fact that they have animal-like characteristics does not make them less evolved. It simply reflects what they need in order to move through the environments they love, the wilderness. It is an immense pleasure to share these ideas with you thanks to the creation of this channel. At the same time, it is a challenge since English is not my native language, but I believe it is the best language to reach the largest number of people possible. So that's all for now, my friends. I hope to continue developing these ideas in future videos on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments. I promise to read them and respond as soon as I can. Thank you and see you soon.